What was that like? What was that whole experience? I feel like everyone has a selection story.
It was tough. I think Olad still has the pictures.
Oh, he has some pictures of it.
Yeah, I think he still has one or two pictures. We were very skinny after the selection. Very skinny.
How long was the selection back then?
It was 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks, I think. Because the first week we were doing, we're running up and down, doing the exercises, going out for patrol. Then the second week, it was a bush phase. We went to the bush and spent a week there. They're trying to teach us about survival. So yeah, it was just an experience that I will never forget in my life.
Do you have any moments that stand out from that experience, or was there ever a point where you were like, do I really want to do this? Is it?
Yeah, I think for that moment, which I think stand out for me, it is that because I think we were like 17, 18.
So 17 down to about
7.
7, okay.
Then out of 7, we went to bush phase 7 people. Then on the bush phase, remember they are looking for 4 people, but we are 7. Obviously, 3 has to go. And out of that, me, it was an obvious case that I won't be part of, because the story behind that, when I say, for me, it was an obvious case that I won't be part of, the lucky ones, because I was still, dealing with the ID issue. So because I don't have, an ID at that moment, I'm only using a birth certificate and a duplicate, that little paper that they give you in the Home Affairs.
Yeah.
So the manager on that time, he said, okay, you can participate in this, program. You can do the selection. But because you don't have an ID, it's going to be tough for me to employ you and be a permanent employee. Then you can do, at the same time, try to fix your problem, so that if ever you got lucky, you get your ID, and likely enough, you get lucky again to qualify as a field ranger, then it will be easy for me as a leader. Then fine, it's fine. Because I have an interest to be a field ranger. It's fine, I will take part with the selection. Then I did register. I take part with it. We did everything. I did everything. I was always the second behind Olad. Olad was always ahead of us in everything.
Yeah, that guy's fit, huh?
Yeah,
he's
very fit. He's very fit. And for me, I always use him as a target. Like, if he can be number 1, if I can't beat him, I has to be number 2. In everything, I tried that. That was my motivation. That as this guy is so good, let me use him as a motivator to me, as an influencer. If he can be number 1, if he does 10 push-ups, if I can't do 10 push-ups, at least let me do 9. Obviously, you'll be ahead of me with 1. And then the others, it's clear that they will be behind. So in everything, I tried my best to be number 2. Then, luckily enough, then after the bush, we came back, out of the bush phase, we came back, then there has to do an interview, because we are still many and they're looking for 4. So we did the interview, and in the interview, I did well. Then I remember the manager said, like, you are pushing my hand. You're pushing my hand, because in everything you did so good. So now I don't know what to do, but okay, it's fine. I'll have the 4 that I was looking for, but I'll add, I'll stretch the number to 5. Then go fix your issue. If your issue will be, be fixed so fast, then you'll be one of the team member of Field Rangers. Not knowing that God has done it already. Because that's why I'm saying this job, it's a calling for me by God. Because God already prepared everything. That after the interview, they gave us a week to go and relax. Because the selection was tough. Then we were given a week to go home, at least to take a breath, to relax, to refresh. Then after a week, we'll come back. On my way out from the reserve, going home, I received a call. Even the manager of that time, he couldn't believe it. Because the same day I did the interview, and he promised that, okay, he can have a space for me because I did good in everything. But because of I don't have an ID, he's giving me a chance to go and fix the problem. If ever the problem could be fixed very easily, then there is a space. Then on my way out, I got a call from the Home Affairs Department from Pretoria. They said, my ID is in the Tulamashi, because that's where I did my ID. I couldn't believe it, and I said to him, like, man, I've been receiving calls saying that there's my ID in there, but to find that there is no ID of mine. Mm-hmm. So how can I believe you now? He said, go to the nearest branch, your ID is there. Then I get home. Okay, I phoned my mom after the call. That, Mom, okay, they said my ID is there. So I don't know. She cried because I struggled. Because some of the people that I attended school with, they are in universities doing, furthering their studies. Mm. And the dream, a wish of my parents was for me to like go further with studies. Maybe I can be something in life. So I went to Home Affairs. Then, to cut the story short, I got the ID. Mm. After that week that we were given from Timbabati, we came back. I came back with the ID. And when I came back with the ID, I went to old Anton's office, as he was the head ranger of the field rangers. I showed him the ID. I got the ID. He jumped. He jumped in a way that he was so excited. He was so excited because he was wishing me well. Mm. Then he was full of excitement. He took the ID, ran, left me behind, ran to the manager's office. He showed him that Frederick got his ID. Then the manager came. Did you buy this? There is no way you can, apply for an ID within a week and receive it. There is no way. How? What did you do? Then I said, sir, it was just God's grace. I don't know. Because Monday after the interview, I received a call saying that the ID is in the nearest branch. I went there, I got the ID. So now there is nothing, it's prohibiting me, stopping me to be a ranger. Now I'm ready. Then from there, we were sent to the Wildlife College, to do the basic. We went there, did the basic, we came back June 2009, then we started to work officially as field rangers.
Wow. That's a pretty cool story. I mean, you basically went through all that torture not even knowing if you had a shot because of this ID issue, which if people like in the other countries, basically it's like almost like a driver's license, but it's your official ID that is connected to it's almost like a passport for South Africa. But
yeah.
And if you don't have that, you can't get into university, you can't get a job.
Nothing.
None of that. So yeah, that's super incredible, especially the fact that you had that much will and, staying right on Orlot's heels the whole time, pushing so hard when you didn't even know if you had this ID in the end. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and yeah, it was hectic, John. It was hectic. I remember when the manager came to me while we're training. He came to me like, Frederick, you are so, full of energy. But remember, I can't employ you because you don't have an ID. But if you can do better, he was motivating me, but at the same time, demoralizing.
Yeah.
So, but
if you get it, but it's probably not going to happen. So,
yeah. So it was up to me. It was up to me to do better. Mm. Then, but I tried to push myself. I pushed myself. Then there was this time. Then I was feeling it that no, man, my legs was so painful. my shoulders, because of the backpack full of sand. It was heavy and I couldn't take it. I remember dropping some tears, and I told myself, like, no, I can't do this. And obviously, because I don't have an ID, I won't be employed. So why torture myself? Let me just stop and like get into the buggy, because there was always, a buggy standby for anyone who will fall or maybe wanna quit. Then they will drive him back to the HQ. Then he can go out and go back to his family. So yeah, it was tough for me. It was tough for me for that little period.
What kept you going in that moment?
There was this field ranger, Jack Msimango. He was a senior ranger who was like, safeguarding us while we were doing the training. They were making sure that there is no harm that could happen to us. So he was very close to me. That moment when I stopped, trying to take out the bag out of me, he said, "What are you doing?" Then I couldn't respond to him. I just stand there. The other guys were moving. And at that moment, there is two guys who walk past me and walk behind Olat. And I was always behind him. Whether we're running, whether we're doing what, always behind him. And that was my motivation throughout the selection. But at that moment, I just lose, confidence. But because he was very close and he was seeing me that all along I was pushing. So he's wondering, what is it that is, making me stop? Because I seem like I still have a little bit of energy that I can still go a bit further. But at that moment, I think, I'll say it's a demon that trying to like, disturb my mind and demoralize me to give up. Then he said, like, no, you can't give up now. Check where you are coming from. It's far. You've done a lot. So now you want to stop? No. Fix yourself. Let's go. And from that moment, he was always, walking behind me, pushing me, like, you won't stop here. You won't stop here. Just move. Then his words made me realize, okay, it's fine. Maybe there will be something positive out of this. Let me still push. Then I did that. I pushed. I still even walked past the two guys who was before me after Olat. Then I walk and be behind Olat, and then we did and finished the training. Then, yeah, that was the training was the field ranger training is tough. It's more like a military training. It's very tough.
I mean, I don't know, it's inspirational to hear that story, because I feel like there's a lot of times in life where you hit that wall and you just feel like giving up on something. Do you think because of that selection that you have a little more inner strength, because now even when I'm at the end and feel like I'm going to break, I still have more than I thought I had in me? Because I'm sure you've probably faced a lot of challenges since then. Does that moment come up in your memory every once in a while and encourage you to push on?
John, what field ranger training does to someone, once you've gone through that and becomes successful, and I believe even if you didn't make it in the training, but the training itself, there is a seed that plants in someone, the resilience. It makes you, so aware that, okay, in life, it's not always, successful. You won't be successful in everything. Sometimes there are those hard times where you need to show character. You need to understand that, okay, now I'm facing this problem, but it's not the end of the road. I can still go forward. I can still achieve 1, 2, 3. If ever I can like pull up my socks and push more, I can still make it. So that's how the selection or the training does to someone. So I've encountered a lot of challenges in life. And with the training, It taught me a lot of things that is helping me today to, overcome every challenge that it may come to my life. And as a father, as a husband, there is a lot that I encounter in a family life, and that needs me to lead as a head of the family, to my kids, to my wife, to my family members as a whole. There's always that role that I need to play, and some roles, they need courage. And where can you find courage other than the Field Ranger training?
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, like, and review our podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple.